A Fair Sister. I like the title, and I thought this was really well done in terms of it wasn't super dramatic. There was like a dramedy to it and a light tone with the music and the cafe being daytime. I like those choices a lot. The writing was really nice. The pace was good, and the timing and the performances were really good. Again, I really like the music and the lighter tone, and good choice of location and cast, and good editing and directing and everything. I like how we don't really necessarily suspect that the one sister will do the cheating, so to speak, and how they're opposites and one sort of underestimates the other. So well done.
A Fair Sister. I thought this was messy, super messy. I also thought it was really interesting how the kind of less wild, I'll say, more low-key sister was very supportive the entire time. Obviously, she'd known about the fact that her sister had been having an affair on her husband on and off for, it seems like, years. And didn't say anything and was, just trying to be there for her as much as she could. But then the second that the roles are kind of reversed, and because she's not a part of the married couple that's having the affair, because she's the single one that's having the affair, as opposed to her sister who was a part of the couple that was having the affair, like all of a sudden there's judgment and there's, oh, you need to be careful, and oh, that's not right, and all of these things, when essentially they're committing the same act, they're just doing it from two different points of view. And how one of them, like I said, had been supportive the whole time, and then suddenly, even before she found out that it was her husband, was, judging her and had all of these things, negative things to say, like about homewrecking and all of these things. And then obviously it comes out that it's her husband, who she's been having an affair on. It's not even like they were in like a super happy marriage. She's already been stepping out on him and has some very skewed perceptions. I thought it was really interesting how you could see how different they were as people, because how they treated the staff, how they viewed their environment, how they interacted with their environment and other people. All of that was glaring differences. But then also you could see this dynamic that had emerged of one of them kind of not necessarily being a doormat, but being a little bit quieter, being a little bit more supportive, being a little bit more open-minded, at least trying to keep those things in mind. And then this other sister who was like very passionate and very emotional and much louder and much more, I wouldn't say quick to judgment, but had more conviction in her judgments and in what she thought and how she viewed everything. And I thought it was just really interesting how they played up that sibling dynamic and how everything kind of unfolded. And I do think that they structured it in a way that as an audience, you kind of were forced to pick and root for one sister over the other. And I would assume that most people, if you were going to choose between the two, that most of the audience members were kind of feeling the same way about which sister they were kind of like on their side. But I thought it was really fun and really interesting and messy.
I really like A Fair Sister. Clever title, by the way. I appreciate a clever title. Um, I thought it was dope. I thought uh, this is how you do a two people meet and have a conversation film. Like I was locked in for the whole 8 minutes, you know? Um, the twists and turns, the funny, like quippy dialogue. I thought it was great. I thought the two actresses worked well together. I thought the story took a bunch of different twists and turns, and I was along for the ride. So great job.
The sister honestly deserved that. The fact that she's so open with the fact that she cheats on her husband, and then to get offended that her own sister is having an affair with Frank. It's her sister's husband. It kind of serves her right. He had to find comfort somewhere. He probably knows his wife is cheating. It's a twist I wasn't expecting. I kind of got the clues as she started talking, was kind of hemming and hawing about who she was seeing. But it kind of goes through with that, where you kind of figure it out very quickly that she's cheating on him, where it's serious news, and you do it. It's a nice twist. This is quite a serious conversation. It shows the complex relationship between sisters, that you can fight, you still love each other, you still get pissed at each other, even when you stab each other in the backs. But it's definitely a complex relationship, and this film showed that very well.
A Fair Story is about two sisters and these secrets that are being spilled, and not only this fact of taking accountability for the choices that you make, but what sacrifices are you willing to make for the ones that you love, whether it be in relationships or a familial bond even. This breaks down different dynamics of different types of relationships and the different aspects of love that come within that space. We have these two sisters who are both having a sense of affairs, but how deep of the cut do they go? We have one sister who says, this is a fleeting moment, this is something fun, and she'll fall back in line with the way that things are, whereas the other sister's secret goes a little bit farther and a little bit deeper, for as she's actually in love with the sister's husband, and they want to it's assumed that they want to leave and be together. And so the sister has to essentially choose, is she going to be with the one she claims to be in love with, someone she hasn't even had a physical relationship with, willing to risk everything of the relationship that she has with her sister. And her sister basically makes the notion that if she decides to leave with her husband, that they are not going to be sisters anymore. And it's sort of left that the fact with that the sister made the choice to be with the love. And it's very interesting to see the dynamics, because they often say that that cliche that blood is thicker than water, but as we see here, that's not necessarily the case. And it really makes you question as to why and what exactly built this type of dynamic to have such a grand shift in the relationship.